And there we go. I've got us unmuted. There we go. Welcome everybody
Yes.
then to the opening race meeting of the Showdown in the BSRTC. Helps if I tick that off. That's my fault for doing some non-Apex Racing TV related streams last week. We're here at Phillip Island in Australia, getting set for the first race meeting of the Showdown. The points are closed right up, and we will try and relay what we've just been saying to nobody for the last 5 minutes. But first, here's the grid. It's Wojciech Savinovic starting on the pole. Then it's Stelian Chapelevsky in second. Jack Sedgwick third. Ash Sutton fourth. Then Dave Baker in fifth. Then it's Sven Glatzel, Jamie Rushworth, Ross McFarlane, Pete Newman in ninth. And Pete Harrod in 10th. It's a row of Pete's on row 5 there. Then it's Jack McIntyre, Dan Brown, the highest AM in 12th. 13th place for George Simmons. Then Steve Baxter. Christian Rose in P15, then it is Chris Wood in 16th, 17th Kip Stevens, then we've got a flurry of Pro-Am drivers, Paul Smith, Rob Graham, Adam McNally, Michael Blake, James Leggett there in P22, haven't seen him in a series for a while, then it's John Roberts, Will Daniels in 24th, 25th Adam Hedgecock, 26th Tristan Bodis, Maciek Sakovic in 27th, and Sean Gardner in 28th as here come the lights. Oh, a jump start for Stelian Chapelevsky. That'll be a slam dunk penalty. The lights are out and we're underway for the start of the Showdown, and Stelian Chapelevsky, you may as well go really if you're moving before the lights, because it's going to be a penalty anyway, and he's had a poor start as a result. He's down to at best 7th place, but it's Savinovic that leads. Sutton already getting into the thick of the action as we go through turn 1, Marco, and he could be up the inside of Wojciech into the first major breaking point. What a fantastic start by Ash Sutton, a jump start penalty for ERT's Stelian Chapelevsky, and Sutton pounces and is up into the lead as Savinovic is getting barged out of the way there.
Yeah, hello everyone, by the way, and yeah, welcome to Phillip Island. Fantastic action at the front of the field. Let's see, I think that will be a slam dunk penalty, like I said, on the hairpin choke point of the track. Everyone beating and banging into each other as expected. So far seems like Sutton had the best jump out of everyone. Glatzel, Sviridovic is down in third, and with this reduced schedule, this shorter run to the end of the championship, more than usual, the points and the positions will matter in this showdown. And straight away Sviridovic, I know he's third, is a good position, but it's not a good feeling when you lose you don't have that good of a start like he had.
Into MG for the first time then. It's complete change at the top of the timing screen. It is Ash Sutton leading the way, 3 places gained. A fantastic start by Sven Glatzel there in the V-Racer car. We haven't really mentioned that. He's up into P2, and then it's the ERT cars in 3rd and 4th. And coming into the pits, there he goes. It is Stelian Chapelevsky at the end of the opening lap. What a disaster for the Bulgarian. Was drafted in to help the team get some points and was one of the wild cards going into the Showdown. That's not how you want to get your Showdown underway. End of the opening lap then, it's Sutton, Glatzel, Savinovic in 3rd, Sedgwick 4th, Baker 5th, 6th is Ross McFarlane, then it's Jamie Rushworth, Pete Harrod, Jack McIntyre and George Simmons rounding out the top 10. You can see who's gained and lost the most positions. It's advantage CQR here in the early going, with Ash Sutton leading the way. In the points, it's as Jamie Rushworth runs a bit wide on the exit of the long left-hander. It is Savinovic leading the way going into the Showdown, 11 points ahead of Ash Sutton, and then it's Jack Sedgwick just 3 behind in 3rd, and you can see here Pete Harrod having to put
someone is around. It's McFarlane.
Oh yeah,
and he made a decent save there, so to limit the damage, good move there. But of course, I think he got also a little bit of damage on his car, and now he's still 3 wide for good measure as another car appears and disappears. McFarlane, Rushworth and Baker, as McFarlane moves from right to left and back to the right and trying to go on the inside of Rushworth, and I think he will complete the pass. Yeah, that's a nice move, so nice recovery then from McFarlane despite that scary moment at the hairpin.
Oh yeah, we'll look at a replay of that in a moment. Going through MG then, it's a sea of V-Racer versus CQR. McFarlane leading this train round, then it's Rushworth, then it's this battle here between Jack McIntyre, behind Jack McIntyre is Pete Harrod and George Simmons. Simmons trying to fill the void left by Stelian Chapelevsky and get some of these places back. It's going to be a classic BSRTC Kia battle between ERT and CQR as we come over the line. Of course, the ERT, formerly known as Apex Racing, over the years. Into the right-hander at the start of lap 3. Round the outside goes Simmons, and it looks like not car 63 has got it done. We had number 63 departing Celtic on transfer deadline day, but George Simmons in the number 63 up to 9th place here. 4 places gained as well, so one ERT car on the move. Next on his hit list is the V-Racer car of Jack McIntyre, but I'm sure he's got his sights set on the CQR car in front of him, Jamie Rushworth, Marco.
Yes, as we jump on board with Jack McIntyre here, you can see how close they get in this section of the racetrack at the hairpin, and then after that they will take this long left-hander called Siberia, apparently called like this because if you go wide, that's where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
And then it's a very flowing. I mean, it's a flowing racetrack all around, and we have this beautiful. Too bad it's a bit cloudy. We cannot enjoy the scenario around here. But look, there's basically a 5-car pack at the front, and then from McFarlane and backwards, so they are all together. So the top 5 looking to make a break away from the rest of the field.
You can see a few casting lines going on into that MG hairpin. Just hog the inside line and nobody can get past you really through there. You are right about our front train, and here it is. It's Ash Sutton leading the way, then Sven Glatzel in second, Wojciech Svidovic third, Jack Sedgwick fourth, and Dave Baker in fifth. That hasn't really changed since the end of the opening lap, and it's going to be interesting to see whether that closes up at all. Here is this battle in the second train. It is really heating up. This is Jamie Rushworth getting by Ross McFarlane into the first corner, runs a little bit wide and sends Ross McFarlane nearly off into the dirt. You are right about Siberia, which we are heading to in a moment. If you do go off there, there's the Pacific Ocean, and if you miss that, you're in Tasmania, and then after that you're off to Antarctica, I think. But George Simmons is definitely not thinking about that. He's trying to get by the V-Racer of McIntyre here into the hairpin, the Honda hairpin. CQR car snaking around in the background there. That was Pete Harrod, and it looks like this could be a pretty good move by Simmons if he can just hold that inside line.
Yes, it is, and looks like he will be able to get on the power early and get out in front of McIntyre. Now under pressure from Pete Harrod as well, as we look back from Simmons' car. Harrod has to lift, and as we can hear during this change of directions, the tires actually squealing constantly. I think this is a testament to how much these cars are moving left and right constantly during the majority of this lap.
All change for position here. This is it. Ross McFarlane looked like he tried to get past Jamie Rushworth, and it looks like the CQR car has got the position back. Yes, Jamie Rushworth up into P6 with 6 minutes of the race gone, but Ross McFarlane is nibbling away at the back bumper and has to get on the brakes to avoid colliding with the CQR car. And that might put him at a disadvantage because here comes Simmons. Up the inside goes the ERT car. Round the outside goes McFarlane. No, he trusts the grip on the outside, and he rightly so. And here comes his teammate, Jack McIntyre. Could be about to demote George Simmons down another place. That is the quick pace world of the BSRTC. You're trying to get one move done for a brief moment. Ross McFarlane was ahead of Jamie Rushworth. Now he's back behind him. And George Simmons is back down to P9 after getting by Jack McIntyre on the previous lap. He's going to try and get him done into the Honda hairpin. No, brakes slightly later. The Kia Optima all over the place. And he might just get it done here, but there is grip on both the inside and the outside going into Siberia, and it might just be the V-Racer car that comes off the better. Well, it's Ash Sutton. Oof, give me a heart attack there. I think he may have just disappeared for a brief moment. He is back again.
Yes, dropped a few positions, then back as this fight here continues, and also, very entertaining for us. These drivers are losing contact with the top 5, but putting on a real show. And you are right, you have to think about each move, because the moment also on contact there and more contact, McFarlane and Rushworth are going at it. It seems like McFarlane will have the outside at the hairpin, but now the inside coming to the final corner. You go to make one move, you make a mistake, and you suddenly lose 2-3 positions. Such is how close the field is, as another lap goes in the books as a car going very, 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 very wide there. Should be Newman, back into the proper. You have to be careful here, because there's no tarmac runoff, only grass and gravel, and if you are not careful, nice drifting there, and in the end he was able to recover and go back on the black stuff.
Credit to him, that could have been a lot worse, and all it took was a slight little tap by the V-Racer car to send the CQR car into the dust and the dirt. this battle continues. It's still as you were at the top. Sutton, Glatzel, Savidovic, Sedgwick, Baker. But look at this. This is a CQR car. The inside, Jamie Rushworth trying to get by. Off goes Jack McIntyre. He's going to really struggle to get back on there. George Simmons allows him the space to get by, to get back on the circuit, much to the detriment of the Evolution Racing Team car. He's now down to P13, duking it out now with Paul Smith, who is currently the second highest DAM driver. We haven't really talked about that. Dan Brown is currently leading the way in that championship. There he is, with the green stripe on the timing tower. And then it's Paul Smith in second, Rob Graham third, Maciek Sakovic fourth, Adam McNally in the Pro-Am stakes. Usually Phillip Island is the curtain raiser to the entire season. Here it is to the Showdown. And we're getting a fantastic battle all on circuit. Just look at the timing tower, Marco. Everybody's separated by pretty much less than half a second, unless you're Ross McFarlane. 5 seconds away from the leading 5 at the front.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, also the amateurs are in their own showdown, as well as the teams. Brown leading the way over Hatfield and Woodhouse. As at the front, Glatzel looking for a way past Sutton. Sutton smartly defending on the inside as they go into the first corner. Now hoping to use a better traction coming out of there. Lots and lots of movement by both of these drivers, trying to find a moment. Especially side by side here, McNally with Rob Graham, and Graham is losing several positions, as this is the fight for third in the amateur class. As you can see, it's a long train of amateurs, as we have a mess here. Glatzel is in the daisies and dropping quickly from second to fifth, so he might have gone for a daring move on Sutton and paid the price for it.
Oh yeah, just the moment we switched away from the leading group to check out the Pro-Am fight, then something kicks off at the front. It helps Wojciech Savidovic. It's a nightmare for V-Racer, because that's Glatzel down to 5th place. Savidovic now up to 2nd, and he's got Ash Sutton right where he needs to be, just in front of him. And he's got Jack Sedgwick acting as a wingman potentially as well. Of course, that's not by any means certain. Sedgwick is also fighting for the championship too, so maybe wingman might not be the right word for that. But let's have a look at what happens. Here it is. Through the long left-hander at Stoner. He's going to go to the outside. Brakes pretty much at the same time as Ash Sutton. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend, I think Martin Brundle said when Schumacher and Villeneuve had something similar there. And yeah, Glatzel definitely came off worse. Meanwhile, here it is. It didn't take long. Battle ignited at the front between Sutton and Savidovic. There was very nearly contact between the two there. Two of the most experienced drivers in the Kia Optima, which is entering its final 4 weeks of competition in the BSRTC before getting finally retired after all these years. And although Ash Sutton may not have won a BSRTC title, he's won a British Touring Car title, but he's won many races in this car, and two of the best in the business in this championship are going at it in the first race meeting of the Showdown.
And I always remember in his debut in TCR UK, he got the win, pole position and 2 wins.
Oh,
so, I'd say he likes those TCR cars.
Yeah, their TCR cars are arriving soon, hopefully for the autumn build. And so we look at this, 12 minutes gone, or just over half of the way through this one. And plus we've got 2 races to go after this as well. We've got a reverse grid to factor into the equation. Only 28 cars here today, so it will be pretty interesting to see what the reverse grid throws up. Used to a lot more entries here, but I think everybody's just eager to get the season done, get the prizes dished out and get onto the TCR car. What's happening here? Ross McFarlane and Jamie Rushworth wheel to wheel going through MG. You can see the picture of Ross McFarlane there as well on the graphics. Rushworth, former champion in this car. Very much experience, hence why he's in the CQR team. And they're rubbing door handles going through the final corner. Ross McFarlane just about going to hold on. Meanwhile, here is the battle for the lead. Ash Sutton versus Wojciech Savidovic added again into the first corner. Advantage CQR for now, and that is something he might try again, Ash Sutton. He defends the inside line, then drifts out to the outside to stop Savidovic getting any advantage at all. And Jack Sedgwick might get a bit bored of this in a while, because it's just allowing Dave Baker to put even more pressure on them, and he might be able to try and take the spot away from the ERT car going through the long left-hander. Yeah,
I was wondering if they were going to fight straight away or wait until the end. No, they are fighting straight away in this final 6 minutes and change, as we are on board with Baker. getting very, very close to the rear end of Sedgwick's car. Behind them you see McFarlane, Rushworth and Harrod, together with Baxter, McIntyre and Brown a little bit further behind, so to speak, as this long train continues with Glatzel basically in no man's land there in 5th. That's how quickly fortunes can change in this championship.
Back to the leading quartet then. It is one of the shorter laps here in the BSRTC, just over 90 seconds, 95 to be exact is what the times that are being set by the guys at the front. And Ash Sutton has got to defend then, you'd expect, for another couple of laps if he wants to open the showdown with a win. Wouldn't it be remarkable if the final season of the BSRTC Nicky Oxman, Ash Sutton gets his name on the trophy? He's done pretty much everything. He's pretty much done everything apart from win the BSRTC title. Obviously his schedule commitments mean that he can't do every single race meeting, but he's been able to get into the showdown on points. But can he get a win here? Wojciech Savidovic, who's won many BSRTC titles, is trying to get it done. There's not enough grip out there, Wojciech, and he's gone off. Wojciech Savidovic off, comes back on behind Jack Sedgwick, but crucially for his race, ahead of Dave Baker.
Yeah, and usually when a car goes wide there, it is the prelude to a big crash because you cannot really control your car trying to get back on the racing line. He was very good and very lucky. He lost only one position, could have been a lot worse. Look at him fighting with the steering wheel, then giving up when going on the grass, taking it a bit easier and getting back in 3rd place. Now we'll see if Sedgwick... Oh yes! Overtake! Wow, I was about to ask if he had intentions to overtake, and the intention was yes, and that is drama, absolute drama. Such bad luck for Ash Sutton, and Sedgwick is in the lead.
Wow, remarkable. All of a sudden it's a ERT Evolution Racing Team 1-2 with Dave Baker now in 3rd, trying to stop them, and Ash Sutton in 4th place. And Baker's really got to help his teammate out here now with just 4 minutes to go. Ash Sutton is cut adrift, 1.7 seconds away from this leading trio, and he's got to try and get by. Right, what on earth happened here to cause this? Let's have a look from the helicopter. Sutton up the inside goes Sedgwick. Well,
let's say that there was, I don't think that Sedgwick had the right. Well, I mean, he of course has the right to go for a move, but he was very, very behind. So I don't know how the stewards will look at that. Certainly, this doesn't look good for Jack. I think maybe will be judged at fault because of this accident.
There's a gap at the beginning, but then it just closes, and he probably did have a go from a bit too far back. We'll have to wait and see what the stewards say on that one. Either way, with just over 3 minutes to go, it's Jack Sedgwick that leads. Wojciech Savidovic is up in 2nd place. He wasn't able to benefit really from that. It was his teammate that was able to. Dave Baker is now up into the podium positions from 5th on the grid. He's been able to leapfrog up into the medal positions. Then after that, it is Ash Sutton in 4th. Not totally the end of the world. Could be worse. You could be Pete Newman, who is off in the Honda hairpin. His CQR colleague is drifting down the order. He's down to 15th spot now. In terms of the AM battle, it is still Dan Brown that leads the way. Paul Smith in 2nd. Then it's Maciek Sakovic and Michael Blake. Something has happened to Dave Baker.
He disappeared.
Oh dear me, he's not been DQ'd, has he? Surely not. I worry it might be a connection.
It could be. I will keep an eye on that. But we are having straight away a fight amongst the top drivers. There has been certainly no holding back. A lot of controversial moments in this first race of the night and of the showdown. I think we are going to enjoy a couple more laps, maybe, yeah. And as Sedgwick starts it in front of his teammate, and now crucially they are enjoying a 2-second advantage over Ash Sutton in 3rd with Glatzel in 4th. And I am seeing that David Baker is he has a very bad quality on the iRacing, and now he has been disconnected.
Oh dear me.
So not a disqualification, but sadly a connection issue.
Well, that evens things up in 1 man down for both ERT and Dave Baker and CQR. Stelian Shepelevsky jumped the start, so he is down the order after serving a stop-and-go penalty. Dave Baker then having connection issues, so it's one CQR car out of the running and one ERT car. If Baker can get back in the session as quick as he can, he might just avoid going a lap down and may be able to get the help of the reverse grid. But for now, what we're looking at is the battle for 5th place now between Ross McFarlane, Jamie Rushworth, Pete Harris, Steve Baxter and Jack McIntyre. It is Jack Sedgwick that leads the way, 0.3 of a second ahead of Wojciech Savidovic, then it's Ash Sutton 1.7 seconds behind as we approach the final lap of the race here. Harrod versus Baxter.
And poor David Baker telling us in the chat, is a racing crashed.
Oh, dear me.
Wow, that's very, very, very bad luck. And hopefully he can get it back for race 2. Fight for the lead, Savella Blanca, white flag in the air.
1 lap to go then, 30 seconds left on the clock. It's who's going to take this opening victory of the day. It's surely going to be one of the ERT cars unless they don't take each other out. We've had that before this season. Savidovic round the outside of the first corner. Up the inside he goes into turn 2. Is Sedgwick going to try his best to keep him at bay? There isn't enough grip out there, but he could try and respond going into the Honda hairpin. He's going to try and get the cut back on the exit. Wojciech is now going to have to look in the mirrors after spending pretty much the entire race looking in front of him. Through Stoner, Ben, the left-hander. It's incredible to watch MotoGP bikes through that part of the course. Now watch out for the Kia Optima, and off goes Sedgwick.
Oh, it's wide!
Off he goes. This might allow Sutton into the fray and maybe try and take the second spot away. But what this certainly means is that Wojciech Savidovic is a second in hand. And what a topsy-turvy race it's been for the reigning champion. Started on the pole, drifted back to about 4th place at one point, managed to get up to 2nd and then got the lead right where it mattered at the start of the final lap. And as long as he can negotiate the final half a lap, Marco, he's going to be on course for an opening victory of the Showdown.
Yeah, many lead changes in this particular race. In the end, the guy that started from pole is in first as they approach the final corner. What a roller coaster ride it has been, and like you said, we have 2 more of these left.
Through the final corner then, who would have doubted him? He starts the Showdown with the points lead. He's going to maintain it because he's going to win the race. Wojciech Savidovic takes the checker flag and wins the opening race of the day here in the BSRTC at Phillip Island in Australia. Let's have a look at what's going to happen with this battle. 2nd is Sedgwick, 3rd is Sutton, 4th is Glatzel. It's going to be McFarlane that just about finishes ahead of Dave Baker. About a couple of tenths of a second separating the group after that. Dan Brown is going to come across the line and win the Pro-Am category of Paul Smith 2nd and Maciek Sakovic in 3rd. Chris Wood and Michael Blake, 2 teammates, just a tenth of a second apart as they come across the line. It's Blake that finishes in 4th. Chris Wood, his Team Mad colleague, finishing in 16th place overall. John Roberts for Boosted coming home in 20th. And I think we are just waiting for Stelian Shepelevsky. Here he is, starts a 2nd on the grid. Got a stop-and-go penalty at the start. Got cut adrift from the rest of the field, and he's now going to come home in 26th place. Now, he'll be hoping for a full -1 because Sean Gardner is set to finish behind him. And therefore, if it's a full -1, you'll count back 1 and it'll be Stelian Shepelevsky that will be on the pole as Sean Gardner comes home in P27. And as far as first races go, that's as dramatic as we usually get, Marco.
Yeah.
A really intriguing way to start the evening and to start the Showdown as well.
Yeah, and this also shows, how big was that penalty, because you would think that with the pace that Shepelevsky has, he could have made up more position, but, in 20 minutes there is certainly not the time to recover, even at his great pace that he has. So I think he will be kicking himself, but like you said, with a big reverse, he will have a nice chance at a good finish in race 2.
Indeed, yeah, let's get the race results up then and bring them to you. Race victory for Wojciech Savidovic. Just having a look at the stat sheet to see what win number that is this season for him. Win number 9, just one away from double figures for the campaign. 2nd place for Ash Sutton in the end. That's not Jack Sedgwick, 1 second behind, drifting off after losing the lead at Honda Hairpin. Ash Sutton completing the podium. Just keeping Wojciech within touching distance. We know how good he is from the reverse grid. It'll be interesting to see whether Wojciech and Ash Sutton can use that to their advantage in race 2 and race 3. Sven Glatzel finishing in 4th, then 5th for Ross McFarlane. Jamie Rushworth in 6th for CQR, his teammate Pete Harrod in 7th. Then after that, in 8th place, it is Steve Baxter, then Jack McIntyre in 9th, and then there's Dan Brown in 10th, winning the Pro-Am category. 11th for Christian Rose, 12th Paul Smith, 2nd in the AM category as well. Then George Simmons, he was up as high as 8th or 7th at one point, trying to push to the top of that second group before dropping back to finish in P13. Then it's Maciek Sakovic, Michael Blake and Chris Wood, 3 Team Mad Cars finishing in 14th. Worth saying that Maciek had a pretty good move to get up the inside of Rob Graham actually going into the hairpin. Really opportunistic. We didn't really comment on that because there was so much going on at the time. There is Rob Graham. He finished in P17. And Pete Newman in 18th spot. Then 19th for Kip Stevens. The first 2 champions of the BSRTC went to Kip Stevens, incidentally, in the Kia. John Roberts in 20th. Then Will Daniels, Anna McNally, Tristan Bodis, James Leggett there in 24th. And then Adam Hedgecock, Stelling Chepelevsky in 26th. Then Sean Gardner and Dave Baker finishing 3 laps down in 28th when he was running in the podium positions. He'll be hoping for better things in race 2, but he's going to be starting at the back. His only hope of salvation, really, you'd expect, is in race 3. But I can tell you that Ash Sutton once won here from starting at least outside the top 40. That was a pretty crazy race. It was either this season or last. I think it was last season, beginning of 2018. Right then, time for the first reverse grid of the evening. Let's get the reverse grid wheel up. The numbers go up to 27, so it might not be Stelling Chepelevsky on the pole. If we do get 27, it will be Sean Gardner on the pole. But let's wait and see. So let's get the spinning wheel up. And then we'll be able to go. There it is. There we go. Let's spin the wheel and find out who's going to be on pole for race 2 of the day, the second race of the Showdown here in the BSRTC. Well, it's not going to be good if you name Stelling Chepelevsky. He's going to be starting at the back. In fact our smallest reverse grid possible. It is 15. So who is that going to be on the pole position for race 2, Marco?
Judging by my scorecard here, it should be Michael Blake starting in pole position for Team Mad in front of his teammate Maciek Sakovic. Then Simmons, Paul, Matthew Smith, and Christian Rose rounding up your top 5 for race 2.
Interesting, very, very interesting, because what this does mean is that Stelling Chepelevsky is going to be starting at the back pretty much for race 2, along with Dave Baker, of course. I'm really intrigued to see how their progress goes through the field. Of course, this does mean that the guys that finished at the top of the fields, Wojciech Savidovic, Jack Sedgwick and Ash Sutton, they're going to be starting that little bit closer to the front. So I wonder if any of those guys could get onto the podium, maybe even challenge for a second race victory in a row. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to take a quick break here on Apex Racing TV, and we'll be back for the second race of the evening here at Phillip Island in Australia. The BSRTC Showdown is up and running.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.